Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something that's literally a matter of life and death, what really keeps us safe in the world's most dangerous industries. You know, the answer might not be what you think. It goes way beyond just rules or the latest technology. It's about something invisible. It's about the cultural architecture of safety itself.
So let's dive right in. We're looking at these incredibly high-stakes operations. Think liquefied natural gas plants, places like that, to get at a really critical question. What is it that truly prevents a disaster? Is it just about having better machines, more regulations, or is it something a lot more human? Well, it turns out the single most robust safety system you can have isn't a piece of hardware you can install or some thick binder of rules. Nope. It's something you build between people. It is, quite simply, a culture.
All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll talk about the stakes involved and this invisible shield. Then we'll get a really clear definition of what safety culture even means. After that, we'll see how it's built by leaders, supported by systems, and finally, why it's the last and maybe most important line of defense.
Okay, first things first. We really need to understand the environment we're talking about here. The potential for things to go wrong is just massive, and that's exactly why this invisible shield of culture is so incredibly critical.
I mean, just try to picture it. You've got these immense amounts of energy being stored, all this super complex equipment running under extreme pressure. These are places where even a tiny mistake can have absolutely catastrophic consequences. So in a world like that, preventing failure isn't just one of the goals, it's the only thing that matters.
So if the answer isn't just about better machines and thicker manuals, what in the world is this safety culture that everyone talks about? Let's actually define it.
You could boil it down to this. It's the way we do things around here when it comes to being safe. It's really about what people do when they think no one is looking. Is safety just a box you have to check off, or is it a deep-seated value that shapes every single decision, every single day?
And wow, when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day, isn't it? A weak culture is all about rules and fear. You know, don't mess up, don't report problems, or you'll get in trouble. But a strong culture, that's all about learning. It's this fundamental shift from a culture of blame, where you hide mistakes, to a culture of curiosity, where you hunt them down to learn from them.
Okay, so how do you build a culture like that? It's not magic. It doesn't just spring up on its own. It has to be intentionally designed. It has to be forged. And that work, well, it starts right at the top.
You see, leaders are really the architects of culture, and their everyday actions are the building blocks. It starts with being visible, and I mean really visible, out on the floor, not hiding in an office. Then it's about asking genuine questions, not just checking boxes on a walkthrough. And maybe the most important piece of all, you have to empower your teams. You have to give every single person the authority to stop a job if they feel it's unsafe without any fear of being punished for it.
And this quote right here, it just gets to the absolute heart of the matter. A leader's #1 job is to build trust. Why? Because if people are afraid to tell you about the small slip-ups, the little errors, the near misses, then the organization is flying completely blind to its biggest risks. Trust is what opens the floodgates to the very information you need to prevent the next disaster. But look, leaders' actions, as powerful as they are, aren't quite enough on their own. You can talk about safety all day long, but if your company's actual systems, the way people are paid, promoted, and measured, are sending a completely different message, guess which one people are going to listen to?
This part is so crucial. You have to ask, what does our organization actually reward? Because if you reward people for speed above all else, you're going to get speed, but you're also going to get dangerous shortcuts. And if your biggest goal is 0 incidents, you might actually be encouraging people to hide problems. But what if you celebrated a high rate of near-miss reporting? See, now you're building a system that's designed to learn. Your systems have to make safety the non-negotiable precondition for everything else you do.
And all of this brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway here. It's the real reason why focusing on culture isn't some soft skill. It's actually the most critical piece of engineering you can do.
Because here's the hard truth of it all. Alarms fail. Valves stick. Written procedures, they can have gaps nobody saw. Every single engineered safety barrier we create has limits and can break. But a strong safety culture, that's different. It's a dynamic, breathing, human system that wraps around all that technology, constantly watching, adapting, and correcting itself in real time.
This is it. This is the ultimate fail-safe. It's that operator who gets a funny feeling that something isn't right, even when all the gauges look fine. It's the team that has the courage to stop the job and double-check just to be sure. It's the human system standing guard over the mechanical one, ready to catch a failure before it ever becomes a catastrophe.
So, we'll leave you with this question to think about. Because in any industry where the stakes are this high, the invisible architecture of your culture isn't just part of the safety system, it is the safety system. And that is the key takeaway.